Hey, what's going on, everyone? In today's video, I decided that I would read you a story, maybe two, depending on how long the first one is, from one of my favorite subreddits, r/nosleep. Basically, r/nosleep is a subreddit for just scary stories and stuff like that, and I think you guys will really enjoy them. So, with that being said, let's get into this video. My daughter keeps taking the heads off her dolls. My daughter Julie is my whole world, but lately she's been doing some things which trouble me. It started innocently enough. She's always played a little rough with her toys, so when I saw one day in her dollhouse that one of her little people was missing his head, my first thought was just to mildly scold her. Grandma got this for you. What would she say if she saw this? When Julie got in trouble, she got quiet. So she just shuffled back to her room and played with something else. And I thought that would be the end of that. But no. A week later, I found 3 more dolls with the same issue. Their heads were completely pulled off. It made me upset. I had paid good money for those. Even worse, she hid them so well I couldn't find them in the house anywhere. Julie, you were raised better than this. She cried and ran to her room. I hated to be strict with her, but I told her if it happened again, she wasn't going to get a new doll for her birthday in a month. That changed her tone, but not in the way I expected. Mommy, please, it's not my fault. I love my dollies, she said. And who besides you have been playing with them? Little people, Mommy, but they don't look like you or me. Julie, stop telling those tall tales. But I'm not lying, Mama. I'm not. And I have to keep giving them more dolls. I tried my best not to roll my eyes. I knew she had an active imagination, but this was getting ridiculous. I told her to go to her room and not come out until she thought about what she did wrong. I heard her cry softly for about 30 minutes. It sounded so genuine that I felt like I had been a little harsh on her. Knocking on her door, I came in her room and said, Sweetie, I'm sorry for yelling at you, but I don't like it when you tell me lies or when you hurt your toys. But I'm not, she insisted. Her eyes were puffy and red. It actually scared me that she believed this fantasy she concocted. Sweetie, there aren't any little people. That's just a story. But they scare me. They come at night and they take my dollies' heads, and they say if I don't give them one tonight, they'll take my head too. I frowned, wondering where in the world she could come up with such a story. Okay. Well, maybe you should sleep with Mommy tonight, and I'll protect you. I decided not to address the issues of the doll right away. She agreed to the plan and hopped into my bed, around 7 that evening. Only took her about 13 minutes to go to sleep. Once she was down, I got up and started to do the nightly chores, still thinking about the strange words she said. I couldn't recall ever reading a story like this to her. Call it mother's intuition, but it bothered me. I went to her room and peeked into the dark. All I saw was just her bed, her dollhouse, and a horde of stuffed animals. For a moment I felt silly, still staring at dolls with heads. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something move. It was no bigger than a mouse, but quick as lightning. It scurried toward the dolls, and I watched in frozen fascination as it began to chew at one of the dolls' necks. I flipped on the light switch and got to get a better look at the thing. And then, it stopped and stared at me. It looked like some sort of imp, with long prickly fingers and twisted legs. It had a twisty tail shaped like a prong, and at the end, I could tell its whole body was charcoal gray. Perhaps the strangest feature of this little demon was that it had no head, just some shoulders and a neck. Yet even without the head, I still felt like it knew that I was there. It opened its neck wide to reveal several long rows of sharp teeth, and then slowly devoured the head. After it was finished, it scurried back toward the wall. It was just about to disappear from sight when I heard something like a voice ring out in my head, like It was speaking into my thoughts. Bring more. Then it was gone. I must have stood there for a good 10 minutes, trying to figure out what I had just seen. I got back into the bedroom to check on Julie. I was so relieved to see she was okay. I have a cold sweat running down my spine right now, and I tried to think how I could protect her. In the morning, she found her doll and cried, "Mommy, I didn't hurt my doll. Please don't be mad at me, Mommy. I'm sorry. It wasn't me." I reassured her that everything was going to be all right, even if I knew there was only one thing I could do. "Let's go to the store and buy you some more dollies." You think I'm crazy, that there's really nothing down there, but I know what I saw, and it wasn't human. This is a true story from the mind of a terrified teenager. I used to love my basement when I was a child. I always played down there with the toys my parents had gotten me. It was my safe haven for all stories in my imagination. However, around 5 years ago, I had that feeling of, I need to get out of here. I'm not safe here. That I am being watched. I always ignored it, thinking that it was nothing. Maybe my imagination going at it again, making me see things out of the corner of my eye. But then the feeling grew, along with my paranoia, until I couldn't not think about it. Note that I was around 10 or 12 at the time. I shouldn't be scared of a place that used to be my outlet for creativity. I had taken to walking backwards up the steps so I could have an eye on the basement as I was going to safety. It had become a habit that I have even to this day. I had thought something had taken up residence in my basement, and, as stupid as this thought is, I thought I could coexist with it, become its friend, but I always had that fear that it would do something. I was dealing with this thought for a couple years now. I was 14. I shouldn't be scared. I should realize that this was crazy. That nothing is living in my basement. That monsters don't exist. But that damn feeling, it stayed with me. One night had changed everything. That one night had solidified the fear that I have in my soul for that place. It was around 7 p.m. It was time to call it quits in the basement. I had put away my things and was turning off the lights to go upstairs. Again, I had that feeling. Every cell in my body was telling me to book it up the stairs, up to the light, to safety. But for some reason, I had to peek around the wall, separating the steps from the dark abyss that was my basement. That's when I saw it. Short, black to blend in with its surroundings, pointy ears sticking out of its big domed head, claws. It wasn't human. I can tell you that. But the one thing that wasn't dark was its eyes. Squinted yellow eyes. Maybe they were glowing, I don't know. It was 2015, 4 years ago. I don't really remember. I can't make this stuff up, I swear. That's when my survival instincts took over, and I ran. I absolutely sprinted up the steps. That's the fastest I've ever ran in my entire life. I even wrote about it in my journal, theorizing on what it was. An alien, a demon, ghost, maybe even Lucifer himself. I feel like I should know what it is. The second sighting was in December of 2015. Oh my god, I saw it again. I was setting the alarm, and I looked down the hallway, and I felt the same feeling that I had felt when I saw it in the basement. It was just standing there, watching me. I don't know how I kept my cool, but I did. I just calmly walked away like nothing was there. But everything in me was screaming at me to run. I haven't seen it since then, but I know it's still there. Does anyone know how to deal with this? Again, this is actually something that happened, not a fictional story. I actually saw something in my basement that night, and I don't know how to deal with it. This is a call for help. But now that I've written about it and published its existence, I don't know if I broke our mutual truce. If so, I don't know how much longer I have. Before I tell this final story, I just wanted to address that it's actually not from the nosleep subreddit. It's actually from the short scary story subreddit, I believe. And I just figured I'd put this in here just so we could finish off the rest of the video with a little quick story that is not necessarily scary, but definitely interesting. The takeover was subtle. You won't notice it at first, but almost immediately you become very aware of your breathing. In and out. In and out. Do you feel it? This automatic bodily response suddenly becoming manual. By the time they have you breathing at their pace, they take your blinking. Another automatic response, commandeered by them. Your eyes are dry and you close your eyelids. You open them, close them again. In and out, open and close. Each muscle in your face becoming less involuntary. They have your sight. They make you focus on things you never needed to. As you read this, do you hear the voice in your head? What does that sound like? It doesn't sound like your voice, does it? The more you read, the stranger the voice feels. Try it. Continue reading. It doesn't sound anything like yourself now, does it? It's familiar, but not quite comforting. They have your voice. Remember to breathe, in and out. Remember to blink, open, close, open. Remember to focus, focus, focus. Further instructions will be provided. You're welcome.